Seth Stokes here, 1063 WORD with Esther Wagner from Palmetto Pride. Ms. Wagner, thank you for joining us today. Tell us a little bit about what Palmetto Pride is all about.
Palmetto Pride is the statewide anti-litter campaign. We are a nonprofit, 501c3, and we have a four-pronged approach. We work on pickup, awareness, education, and enforcement efforts. And we aren't just anti-litter. We should be saying more beautification. We're about beautifying South Carolina, and part of that is picking up litter. But it's also about beautifying our areas as well.
Picking up litter, adopt a highway, things of that nature all kind of falls under the Palmetto Pride umbrella.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the Adopt a Highway program and what you have going on right now.
Okay, we have a lot of pickup programs. Adopt a Highway is one that we manage. The South Carolina Department of Transportation actually runs the Adopt a Highway, but we have taken over the management of that for them. So we're basically advertising it for them, making sure that people know about it. Mm-hmm. But we also have clean teams and stream teams, and they're similar to Adopt a Highway. So I'll talk about all of those at the same time. All of them, the volunteers commit to picking up either a section of roadway or a park or a boat landing or maybe a stream, and they usually we ask for 4 pickups a year. The Adopt a Highways are typically about 2 miles. Just depends on the roads. And then we provide all the supplies, with the bags, the gloves, some of the vests, safety vests, safety always first. And we also have mesh bags that you get onions in. We have those for stream pickups or any water pickup, because you get plastic bag and water and it's really hard to fill that bag. So we try to cover all the bases for any group that's wanting to help us pick up. And our volunteers are everything to us. They're so important. We wouldn't be Palmetto Pride without them. So you can look on our website for all the applications. Now the Adopt a Highways, they get the signs on either end of the road with their group name on it. And we do have a luncheon. Our Adopt a Highway luncheon is next month. And we give out awards each year for the groups that are doing the stellar pickup efforts. So we appreciate them a lot.
When someone volunteers, what all is involved? You said like Adopt a Highway, you get the 2 miles. So what all is involved? You said they go out there a couple times a year, pick up, and then what?
Well, first of all, the first thing that we do is we get with the Department of Transportation has to check out the road that they select and make sure that it's a safe road for them to be on. Mm-hmm. Once that's approved, they have a team leader that every 2 years the team leader has to do a safety program. They have to come in and do a safety program. And then they decide, the group picks up. We ask them to do 4 pickups a year, but the group does the pickups. They leave the bags there. If it's during certain times of the year, they can leave the bags there and the Department of Transportation will come and pick them up. If it's not during those set weeks, we ask that they go ahead and find a way to dispose of them. And that's basically it. They do report into the Adopt a Highway. They count the bags and they report in those bags to the Adopt a Highway program, and so that we can keep track of what all our volunteers are doing.
What kind of support have y'all gotten, and I guess from a community standpoint, are the volunteers? Do you have great numbers of volunteers, or?
Yes, but we can always use more. Right. It's very difficult. Some groups will. It depends on the members of the group. Like y'all have a church group that starts doing it, mm-hmm. and they do really well, and they're picking up consistently. And then, those teens graduate, and there's fewer teens, so they can drop off. So it varies. The Adopt a Highway groups will, get come and go. So right now we have more Adopt a Highway groups than we've ever had before, mm-hmm. and we're very proud of that. And it, of course, with anyone, the problem, I often get people who say, well, that group isn't picking up. It doesn't look like they're picking up there. And the problem isn't with the group. The problem is with the people who are throwing the trash down. So we always want to talk, whenever we're talking about Adopt a Highway volunteers, we want to definitely show them appreciation. We've had people who have driven by our volunteers and thrown out trash and said, that will teach you. Because they believe that they're doing community service work. which there are community service people out there working, but most volunteers are not. We have very few community service hours going to litter pickup, unfortunately. But it really doesn't make sense anyway that you would commit a crime of littering to make a point to someone you think has committed a crime.
Right.
So we always want to, anytime you see those Adopt a Highway people out there, you thank them for what they're doing. They're doing a valuable service to our community. And littering we always want to talk about the impacts of litter. Littering is not just about birds with six-pack rings around their beaks. It is an environmental issue. We are basically chewing on plastic when we're drinking because there's so much plastic in our water supply. But it's also about things like the Riverwood Farms fire in 2014 that was started. They found the lit cigarette butt and the V-shaped burn mark that went from it into the Riverwood community, and it cost $1.76 billion worth of damage to the homes. 3 children had to be rescued. It was right during rush hour. People sitting in traffic, wasting their gas for hours and hours. Our first responders going out, the community resources that took is incalculable.
That was terrible.
We also have people dying in accidents on our roadways. So your insurance rates, my insurance rates are higher because of the over 25,000 traffic accidents that are reported each year that are due to litter. That's the ones that are reported to insurance companies. I've hit trash twice on the roadway, and it wasn't enough to report it to it cost me $400 each time to repair my bumper. And that wasn't enough to report it to insurance. So those are just the ones that we're reporting. And when I go out and I do presentations at different community groups, and I always ask, when I get to the part where I'm talking about the traffic accidents, I say, how many of you in this audience have had to maneuver around trash on the interstate? And the older the group, the larger the percentage. And when it gets over 50, if it's a group of over 50, every single person has. And then I ask them how many of them have had accidents. There's always someone. I ask if they felt their life was in danger. There's always someone. And at one group, I had someone tell the story of a family member that died. And let me tell you, that didn't take much effort on my part to finish that presentation. Everybody was convinced that day hearing their story. She did my job for me.
Wow.
So that's a powerful thing but every time there's someone who's had an accident due to litter. It doesn't matter. I've done it to college age kids all the way up to seniors. And there's always someone every time.
Now, at different times throughout the year, y'all do different events or
Yes.
have different slogans and rallies, so to speak, going on right now. You're doing a blitz here in March in Easley and Simpsonville.
Yes.
So what is involved in doing those?
Basically, with the Easley one, we had actually Senator Rex Rice got in touch with us, and he said, he's been noticing how he's been having people call him and complaining about the litter. So he went out and started, he got with Adopt a Highway, and he looked at what areas of 123 weren't picked up, and he adopted a highway. And he got out and started picking up, and he and the sheriff of Pickens County were out picking up trash, and they did it for 4 weekends in a row, and they picked over 120 bags of trash up on a 2-mile stretch. And so they realized from that, and they also saw how quickly it fills back up once they do the pickup. So they realized from that how serious of an issue it actually is. And they asked us to get involved and start doing a blitz. And that's when we can't do it ourselves. There's only 8 of us that work at Palmetto Pride. We're not going to be able to get out and go do pickups all over the state. So, but what we are is a clearinghouse. We are here for any kind of help that you need. We give you advice on how to start, give you supplies. We have a great grants program for beautification and anti-litter efforts. And we're also here to talk with law enforcement. We make, best thing that community members can do is start calling down people. When they see someone littering, call those people down. We'll never out pick up the litterers. We just won't. As long as they're out littering, we're not going to be able to out pick them up. But if we start changing the social norm, in Japan, in Tokyo, you don't see trash on the ground. You don't see litter, because if someone litters there, they get social pressure to stop. And that's what we've got to start doing, is having social pressure. The other thing we need to understand is littering isn't just about somebody throwing out their trash out their window. Littering can be your curbside trash can that isn't properly secured, and the wind or an animal is tearing that trash out of there. It can be that you don't tie down your loads properly in your truck. Or, as the weather's getting nicer, you roll down your windows and you don't check and make sure there's not trash laying in your car somewhere.
Right.
It also can be things like balls outside in your yard. Are you making sure that all of the stuff in your yard is secure? Because a good wind or the flooding that we had last year, after the floods 2 years ago, I went to Cedar Falls to take pictures, and I counted over 25 balls just floating right there in that area, in that little bend at Cedar Falls. There were 25 balls. They were basketballs, soccer balls. Those weren't trash that people threw away. Those were things that the water carried out of people's yards, the water and wind. So those are things we need to be aware of. It's not just people tossing stuff out.
So you've done the Blitz in Easley, the cleanup project there in Simpsonville. What's coming up next?
We're always we've got, at any time we're trying to do blitzes. We're what we do is we contact groups in the area, like we contact the chambers, the schools, the churches, and we ask them to do, even if they can't do an Adopt a Highway, do a one-time pickup. And that's what we do a lot of. We're contacting people and trying to get them to do litter pickups. But we're also, we have an education program. We're going out to schools and talking to people. We have the awareness programs. We ask people to call, if they see someone littering, call 877-7-LITTERS and report those. We also ask them, we have a trash trackers app. You can download it on your smartphone, or you can go on our website and you can report an illegal dump site or a hot spot that needs to be addressed, and we send that out to the appropriate people. You can always contact us if you've got some area that you think, hey, we could do this. We need to beautify this, or we need to clean this up. You can always contact us and ask for help and see what steps to go through, and we'll try to help get something done there.
What has been, in your experience, the oddest thing found on the side of the road from a cleanup effort?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. I personally have found, one time we found on my sister's road, we always pick it up, there were 2 grocery bags with dead squirrel carcasses, and they had all been killed in different ways.
That's weird.
That gave me that makes your hair stand on you. One time we found, again, my sister and I, we found the first time when we found the bag with bones in it and blood, it was like soupy. We were like, okay, there's something wrong here. It was a grocery bag. And then we pulled a blanket, and there was a bunch of bones in the blanket. And so with that, we did call the police. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's not human, but I'm going to call the police anyway. And they came out. We had the coroner out there, and there were 5 officers. There were 5 police cars. And my nieces were helping pick up, and they said, these people have to be wondering what we did, that we need 5 police cars in the coroner escorting us as we're doing our community service. So, but there's been people who have found guns. A license plate, we report license plates because it could be somebody who's committed a crime and they've tossed or stolen a car and they've tossed that license plate. There's always unusual things. Of course, there's people who found drugs. When people are running, they see a cop car go by and they've been doing something illegal, the first thing they'll do is throw that stuff out the window. And so we find a lot of that stuff. And especially we do the Francis Marion National Forest litter pickup every year in February, and they always find, there's always something of that sort that they find there. Somebody found a litter pickup crew down in Irmo a couple of summers ago, found a dead snake. It looked like it had been frozen, and it was like an 8-foot long boa constrictor laying out in the median in the middle of the road.
Goodness.
And it's like, how did that get here? It's not normal. So
that's really strange.
Yeah.
Well, once again, for anybody that might be interested in getting involved, what are the steps they need to take? Where can they go online?
PalmettoPride.org. And you can get applications there for our grants. Applications aren't open yet, but you can start reading about them and find out information there. You can always go in and find your contact info for your Adopt a Highways. You can also, and clean teams and stream teams. You can also just contact our office if so people don't have computer access. You can contact our office, and if you're doing a litter pickup, any kind of a litter pickup, definitely call us and ask for supplies. We'll send out supplies for you, and let us know what you're doing as well, so that we can count what you're doing and let people know, you know, these are our volunteers and this is what they've done. This is how much litter they've picked up. You know, we've had over 27 million tons of litter picked up in South Carolina since Palmetto Pride began counting. So when you think about that, that's a tremendous amount. Last year, the Adopt a Highway groups picked up what is the equivalent of 250 pickup trucks full of litter.
Wow.
So that's pretty big.
Sounds like there's a great need, Esther. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and letting us know about Palmetto Pride and the cleanup efforts. And hopefully we'll get some people out there to help pick up.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.